everybody, welcome to this video. Today I'm here to talk about a dream I had some time ago. I had this dream like maybe a year ago, and the reason I bring it up is because I just felt like I should, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like I needed to remind y'all about this dream. I don't know, Yahweh was telling me remind them about this dream. Maybe this is about to happen. I don't know. So, I'm not going to tell you the whole dream because the whole dream is already on this channel if you want to watch it. And I feel like there's just a specific part of the dream that Yahweh actually wants me to talk about. So, let's get into that. So, the part of the dream he wants me to talk about is in the dream, I died. And they were calling it in my dream, they were calling it the waiting room. And this waiting room, I asked if it was heaven. And everybody just said, no, this isn't heaven, it's the waiting room. And I felt like it had some, meaning I just wasn't getting. And I eventually found out in the dream that the waiting room, it was literally the waiting room. They said this is where all the people came to wait until they could go to heaven. And they said they couldn't go to heaven until God returned. That's what they said. They couldn't go to heaven until God returned. So this is where everybody that has ever died waited until God's return. And they were like, we can't go to heaven until God returns. And that's why it was called the waiting room in my dream. But that's not what God wanted me to talk about. I just said that so it makes more sense what I'm about to say. What he wanted me to talk about, in the dream, I truly do believe that she was my guardian angel. I truly believe she was my guardian angel. She took me into this room that was in the waiting room, and I could see it was like a TV, maybe an old-fashioned TV, almost one of the, I don't even know how to explain it. It was almost like one of those old-fashioned TVs. I don't even know how to explain it. But all you need to know is that it was a TV of some sort. And on this TV, it was I could see this tower. And I'm I've seen that tower somewhere. And I just couldn't pinpoint what that tower was called. I'm what is that tower called? And I knew I had seen it somewhere. I just couldn't remember what it was called. And in my dream, she showed me that they had been building something in this tower. And she showed me what the building looked like. And I'm I've never seen that building look like that. In my entire life, I've never seen the building look like this. And this thing they were building made the ground shake. There was these giant metal plates that went into the ground, and it made the whole ground just shake. It made the whole ground just shake. And it did something with the gravity. This machine made the gravity off, almost levitating. And it wasn't exactly how in space, how everything just goes everywhere. It was just slightly, the gravity was off just slightly. Almost, I guess the best way to explain it, just levitating. But not things weren't floating off all the way to the sun. But kind of they were just a little bit off the ground. And there was this annoying noise it would play. It sounded like the static from a radio. Have you ever heard radio static? It's very, very annoying. But it was this was on blast, almost unbearable. And in my dream, that's what this machine did. And I didn't exactly, I guess, at first understand the purpose. I'm okay, so makes the ground shake, makes the gravity a little wonky, and it makes this loud, annoying noise. And I wasn't exactly sure why she was telling me all this. I'm sounds kind of scary. I wouldn't want this to happen. And she was they secretly been building this inside this building. And it was a famous landmark. This thing's famous. And I was how did they build that? Because there's constantly people probably in that building because it's a famous landmark. And she's they built that when people aren't paying attention or when it's nighttime and nobody's there. And if people accidentally see it, see their building, they will just say it's something else or it's something they're adding on to this famous landmark. They'll just make an excuse, and usually people forget and they'll just walk on. And they said they've been secretly building this. And I'm just kind of curious, what is this building for? And building was going to be used when God returns for the very first time. This building was going to be used to manipulate people into believing God returning was actually aliens. That's what this machine was used for, was to make everybody believe that when God returns, that it was actually aliens. So people don't go running towards God and all that. They're gonna try to make us think it was aliens. And in my dream, it actually worked. Like in my dream, it actually worked. And a lot of people did fall for this and did miss Yahweh. And okay, I'm gonna be honest, some of this I don't believe was a dream. Some of this was kind of like a vision. Just telling y'all. Some of this was like a dream, some of this, when I say like I mean part of this was like a dream, but then it was almost like I was telling the rest of the dream as a vision. I hope that makes sense. But I am not like making this up. Like Yahweh's really been telling me this. He shows me dreams. He gives me visions sometimes. Like I'm not making this up. And yeah, that it was being used to manipulate us, that God's first coming was aliens. And they've already been talking about aliens. You know, off and on they've been kind of talking about them. They're not like a major thing, but off and on they've been talking. And like I said, it did work. And in my dream, people got very, very angry when they found out the truth. When they found out what they thought was aliens and were being told to stay indoors, don't go outside, stay away from the aliens, was actually God returning, they were mad as heck. Like, they were mad as heck. I think they were very, very mad. In my dream, they were so mad, people started robbing. I mean, that's not even like, they started doing every crime, like known. Like, every crime known to us, they started doing it because people thought, well, God came and, well, he's never coming again, so I can just do whatever I want. Their hope had been lost. And in my dream, the government came and was able to calm everybody down. So what people may not know is that God comes more than one time. Yes, he comes more than once. And people just didn't read their Bible enough to know that he comes more than one time. He comes 2 times. The Bible, if you read it, tells us he comes 2 times. 2 times. And people just didn't read their Bible enough to know that. So when God came the first time and they got fooled into believing it was aliens when it was really God returning, and they started doing just every crime you can think of, pretty much they were doing it in my dream. And people literally started grabbing rocks and were throwing them at the sun. And they were just like screaming. They were like just screaming. They were like, Yahweh, come now. They were just like screaming. Like I said, they were throwing rocks at the sun and they were just like screaming, Yahweh, come now. Like, it was just so sad to like see. It was just like so sad to see. People just literally yelling at the sun. They're like, Yahweh, come now. Because they were just like begging. They were like, Yahweh, I'm ready now. They're like, I wasn't ready when you came the other day. But they're like, I'm ready now. But it was already too late. Yahweh had already come. And in my dream, this caused a lot of people to stop believing in God. A lot of people. People you wouldn't even think. Like, it caused so many people. Hold on, I just want to fix my necklace real quick. There. Did I fix it? Okay. I just wanted to fix my necklace real quick. But, like I said, it caused so many people to stop believing in God. People you wouldn't even think. Like, people that are known for teaching others about God stopped believing because of this. Because they didn't read their Bible enough to know that God comes more than once. And it was just really sad. Really, really sad. It was like really sad. Just like really sad. And I was just talking to my mom about it. I'm like, if we ever hear like some radio static, or if we ever like feel the ground shaking, or if we ever like the gravity kind of off, I'm like, I don't care if I'm wrong. If it turns out I'm wrong, I don't want to take any chance. I'm like, I'm running out that door. If there's even like a chance that it could be God returning, I'm like, I'm running out that door. Cause like when I say this music was loud, like I said, it sounded like a static from radio. It could be heard almost, the whole earth could hear it. And the ground was shaking. The ground shaking didn't go as far, but it could be felt from a pretty good distance. But it wasn't like covering the whole earth like the static noise was, like this loud static noise. And I'm like, if we ever hear ground shaking, gravity kind of wonky, or anything similar to that, I'm like, I don't want to take no chances on missing my God Yahweh. I'm like, I'm bolting out that door. Like, I'm getting my shoes. I'm like, even if I don't have time to get my shoes, I'm just running. But that's what he wanted me to tell y'all. And before I go, I want to tell y'all something else that I forgot to mention. When I was in that waiting room, because that's what they were calling it in my dream, my guardian angel, like I said, I don't know if she was my guardian angel. I just really felt like she was. And I've had other dreams, and my guardian angel and the other dreams I've had look very similar to how she looks. So I really do think she was my guardian angel. But what I wanted to tell you is that when she was showing me this machine, I asked her, I was like, how long until this happens? How long until this machine goes off and we're tricked into thinking that Yahweh's coming is aliens? And I was like asking her because people think Yahweh is going to return very, very soon. And I would like to mention, I had this dream during 2024, I believe, is when I had the dream. So I'm going from when I had the dream. I'm going from the year I had the dream to however many years she told me. This will make more sense once I explain. So I asked her, I was like, so how long until like this happens? Because I was just wanting a good time to know. And she was like, years. And I was kind of confused. I'm like, years? Like, really, years? Because like people think God's returning like really soon. Like people are thinking like really soon. Like even my family, we're thinking Yahweh's return is sooner than it's ever been. I mean, there's probably people that agree with us. Like we're thinking Yahweh's return is sooner than it's ever been. Like it's getting exciting because who doesn't want Yahweh returning? And in my dream, like I said, she said years. And I was like wanting more information. So I was like, how many years? And I asked her, I was like, so like, I was kind of like 3, maybe 5 years. And she was like, no, not really. Like almost like she didn't want to tell me. Almost like she was just didn't want to tell me. And she was like, more like 6 or 7 years. She was like, maybe a little longer. So if we count from the year I had the dream, 7 years from the year I had the dream, which was 2024, would be 2030. And I just thought that was no coincidence because people are already like trying to say that he's coming. And people are trying to say that Yahweh is going to return in 2030. So I'm like, I don't think it's any coincidence that it would be that year would officially be 7 years since the year I had the dream. Like I didn't think that was no coincidence. And I really feel like this is what Yahweh wanted me to tell today. Like I said, the full dream is already on my channel if you want to watch it. I forgot what I titled it, but just scroll down. You'll eventually find it. And please like, subscribe. Watch my other videos if you want to. Like you don't even have to like and subscribe. Like I do this channel because I'm just trying to spread the word of God. I really do have these dreams. And just thanks for watching. And I guess bye for now.